So in order to know what the ground height is in a specific area, we use what's called a digital elevation model. So a digital elevation model is basically data that tells us how far above sea level each point on the ground is. And that's necessary because we need to know where the camera is actually intersecting the ground. Take, for instance, if you're steering up a hill, you want to know where it's intersecting as the hill goes up. And so the digital elevation model tells us that.
So DTED data is free and coarse resolution from the USGS, but it's in 1 kilometer sectors. So you could visualize the world in, say, Minecraft blocks that are 1 kilometer big. And so if you're at the edge of a hill, it may take 1 kilometer before you go up to the next elevation altitude in DTED data. So you can get it in higher resolution in different locations. And it smooths out the coarseness of your altitude data, basically, as it's smaller and smaller blocks. So using the GSS, the DTED data is very critical for geopointing. Picture looking at the base of a mountain and orbiting around that base. And it's fixed on that location, you know that altitude location. And you orbit, it will hold that position. Now, say you go to the top of the mountain and you go to orbit and you want to orbit the peak, but you don't know the altitude value of that peak. When you orbit, the system is thinking it's looking at the ground through the peak at the altitude you were at the base. So it's holding a point somewhere off in the distance rather than at the mountain peak. So having DTED data is super critical for any rough terrain.